Hi guys, welcome to Robin Hood Diaries today, this evening, whatever it is, as I always say. I previewed this evening as field trips with my son, something to that effect. Weekend field trips or routine field trips, whatever I said. What this refers to is a small period of time. I don't talk about my son because, of course, anything with regarding him in detail is for him to tell. I'm not here to tell his story. But there are little moments that I don't know, historic moments, or that are vague enough and discuss feelings and impacts of feelings that are not detailed enough to be giving anything away or anything personal. So you get to a point in your child's life when you've done enough pulling off the side of Sunset Boulevard, changing diapers that are everywhere, projectile vomiting everywhere, and trying to come up with a new outfit of whatever you have in the trunk or reconfiguring what they have. So at that phase, you're so busy taking care of things. But there are certain things that develop, that arise, an affection, little affectionate things. Like I've mentioned, he insisted that I drive all the time holding his hand with my right hand behind the seat. Now, please, no endangerment. I did not endanger him. Well, to the extent that you think. But if he was in the car seat, which was in the back, always, and I was driving, I had to hold his hand. He would just want to hold it and just squeeze it and look at it and, pet it. So this was a thing forever. Like every time we drove. And it's moments like that. I won't go into all these little detailed, nuanced, little affectionate moments or whatever. But as parents and as non-parents can understand this just as well, you get this sixth sense about that certain days are ending. 8, 7, 9, 11, whatever they are, there is a way that they're going to be and moments that you're going to have with them that you will no longer have because time marches on. So I made a concerted effort during this time where I started getting this sixth sense that the hand holding during the driving and the running up to me and the jumping in your arms and all these things that come naturally when they're younger start to kind of twist and shift as they hit 11, 12, 9, it starts to So I made this concerted effort to make these routine field trips, not only over the weekend, but just as spontaneously any night. They were always evenings, and it's always when he wanted to go. Anytime he wanted to go, let's go to Hollywood, because that's where he wanted to go. Sort of a ground zero there at Highland and Hollywood Boulevard. Lots of activity, lots of rebuilding, lots of tourists, and lots of street vendors and things like that. So he loved that. So I made a point of doing that any time I could that he wanted to. Or I would make spontaneous suggestions. Do you want to go to Hollywood? There are other areas that we went that were just so memorable, and I just wanted to recapture all of that or capture it as long as I could. And I realized that if I didn't jump on it, I was going to lose it because I only had a certain amount of time left before he's going to be this tween, this other child. So I made these trips to Hollywood. Now I'm not just talking about being on the corner of Highland and Hollywood Boulevard, just staring up in the air. There were dancers and singers and acrobats and street vendors and food and shops. Don't remind me about the shopping. And actually it wasn't that bad. And then I would pick like whatever I could pick that I would want in Hollywood growing up. He's in Angelino. And I would take him all over to like Los Feliz area. And there was like cool little shops on Hillhurst and little just wacky stuff, like, retro stuff when I was a kid, or everything. And anywhere I could think of like that, I would bring him. That was just fun because I was holding on to these moments, these special moments where he wasn't going to want to do this anymore. he wasn't going to want to take our little field trips anymore, and I had limited time to squeeze these in because I knew as a parent they weren't going to be there forever, and so I would take him to these shops on Hillhurst, but things that I would want to see, like wacky, like I said, wacky, weird, eclectic, retro, cool stuff. And then there was a Thai bakery, of all things, that has very, very bizarre desserts to some, to us, perhaps. And I mean, you don't even know like what you're eating. It's all delicious and sweet, but there's bags of stuff and there's stuff in deli like cases, and some of it looks like ice cream and some of it looks like cake and some of it looks like meat cake and I don't know what. But we would just experiment. I would just get a tray of this and a box of that, like big puffy pink and blue puffs, like not muffins, but like, I don't know. But it was fun. It was like surface excitement. It was like, you know, bringing him to the Thai dessert shop was just like a thing. You know, he loved it. I loved it. It was deep into the back end of Hollywood, but I was there and I was familiar. I mean, I was born and raised. I knew every corner of, and then I went into an industry where I had to know every inch of the county, but we don't talk about that because I'm under an NDA on that. So, there were plays even. Now my mother would drag me to see as I mentioned a couple of evenings ago. I mean, if the doors open, we were there. In terms of theater, big stuff, small theater, big theater, the Amundsen, the Flight Theater with the little staircase, you know, anything noteworthy, she would bring me to. Well, I tried with my son. We saw, I think, 2 plays together, and I just wanted him exposed to what it was like to sit in a theater and be quiet and listen to people perform, because the only really experience we had was, I don't know, dragging him to the Nutcracker of the holidays, where by intermission he's torn all his clothes off and is jumping up and down half naked on the seat during the Nutcracker, requiring you to leave at intermission. And that was not like the only time. But these are the nuances, as inconvenient as they would be at times. You know, like you're in the middle of something, you have your evening planned out, you have to think, and then suddenly he said, let's go to Hollywood. Well, that may seem like a moment where you say, no, not tonight. Let's do it tomorrow because I've got too much on my mind, or I have to go through something or other. Well, you've just lost that moment and you'll never get it back. And God forbid something happened tomorrow morning, you will have lost that precious evening with your son or your daughter or your loved one. And I wasn't fucking allowed, I was not about to let that happen. I realized that time was slipping away, as it does with all of us that we love so dearly, and time was slipping, and I capitalized on it, and I am so glad that I did, because I have pictures, screw the pictures, I have memories of watching these acrobats on Hollywood Boulevard and his, like, you know, discerning eye, or being approached, or going into stores, trying on a rubber horse head and taking pictures of each other. These seem like little things, and they're monumental things that you will take with you. Trust me. Because they go away. The last time that I really felt that sixth sense hit hard, I was driving to Hollywood on one of our field trips, and he was in the front seat, of course, now, because he was 8 or 9, or I don't know what he was. He wasn't holding my hand in his car seat anymore. And I said, can I hold your hand? And he looked at me and he goes, okay. And we held hands driving to Hollywood on our usual spontaneous field trips. It was the last time that I got to. But I got to. One last time I got to drive with him to Hollywood holding hands. And when we got there, you know, he kind of realized how awkward that it dawned on him that, you know, what are we doing? But I had my last moment, and I'll never forget that drive to Hollywood. And it's a silly little thing that you wouldn't think of that is ingrained, is carved into my mental plate. And I'm so happy for it, for the Thai dessert shops and the funky shops in Los Feliz and Hollywood and Hollywood, Highland and Hollywood Boulevard and just those little things, the little plays, silly little plays that we went to. I'll never get that back, but I'll have it forever. So anyway, I hope I didn't get too sappy on you, but that's my little story about these field trips that I would take with my son that are little things, little spontaneous moments that you gotta capture. You really have to capitalize on those little moments. When I get into an argument, I will say, is this how we want to leave it? Is this, like, God forbid, if I went to the market and God forbid, is this what we want to remember each other by in that moment? No. And that usually takes care of it. So thank you for joining me this evening. I don't think I went over on this one, but I enjoyed you bringing back these memories for me, or bringing them back for you or us for each other. But anyway, so that's it. And I think it's a shame, you know, that some folks in Hollywood have decided to rob things from my son in the future that he could be in good standing with, that he by proxy is not anymore in good standing with, and that would be the franchise and all of that. But he's the continuation of the Fries, and it will be his call when I'm gone, so watch out. Take care. Again, thank you. I adore you. I don't deserve you, and I mean that, but I'm very grateful. So take care. Have a good one. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.